Given the importance of going through and trying to get engagement, whether it's for organic posts or even for ads, I want to talk next briefly about some of the things you can do to make your posts received better by consumers who see them. The number one thing you can do is going through and making your posts really visually interesting. You want to be catching people's attention and also sucking them in so they want to look at it and spend more time examining what it is you posted. Most people just look at stuff on social media for about a second or two. So taking a look at making your content as visual as possible and as pleasing as possible so that people lean into it is really important. A couple quick things you can go through and take a look at doing to make your post better includes using some principles from photography. I've got a link down below which has more information on a whole ton of different tips for going through and doing better photos, but a couple key ones to think about are using the best camera you have available. So within your group, thinking about who has the newest phone, because you're gonna have a much better camera on more recent phones. If somebody has an SLR, by all means go through and use that as well too. Secondly, shooting in as much resolution as possible. So use the highest possible settings so you have more flexibility to go through and edit your photos and crop them down if you'd like to. Another really simple rule is using the rule of thirds. So try not necessarily to stand in the very center of your particular photo that you're taking, but instead to one of the thirds, whether it's vertical or horizontal. This will make it more pleasing on the eye. You can of course go through and try to make sure that you're not having things that are backlit. By backlit, I mean when the basically the background is super bright, and as a result, whatever's in the foreground becomes really dark. Another tip is to try and avoid using your flash as much as possible. Shoot outside if you can. Natural light tends to give you much better photos, especially if you can shoot in the early morning or late afternoon, early evening during one of the golden hours. These are great times to go outside and take photos. Another trick is to go through and pump up the saturation of your photos. Research shows people are more likely to engage with photos and videos that have richer color in them. So make sure you go through and have good coloring in the photos and videos you post and consider pumping it up. Those are just some quick tips on photography, but there's some links down below if you want to go through and take a look in more detail at tips for creating better photos or videos. In addition to being visual, the next most important tip is to make sure that you're highlighting the value that your particular product or service is conveying for people. So don't just sell the product, sell what the product or service does for people. So again, with tents, it's not just about the tent, it's about what you can do with the tent. Show the tent being used. Show the happy vacations people can go on with their family or loved ones, whatever it might be, or their friends, right? That's what people want to be buying with the tent, the ability to go and do those cool things. So make sure that your posts are bringing that to life in your ads and the content you create. Another tip is to try to include people in your posts. Yes, it is much easier to go through and do just product shots as flat lays or things like that, but having people in your post is really valuable. People attract attention. We naturally look at other people in photos we see or videos we see. We're especially drawn to people's eyes. We want to look at them and see who they are, if we know them, what they look like, what they're up to, right? So including people is a great way to attract attention. People are also really useful because of that they can model stuff and showcase much more emotions and feelings and things like that than just a product itself. So try and go through, round up your friends and family, and even include yourself potentially as a model in the posts or ads you're going through and creating. I know it's more effort to go through and work with people in creating posts or ads, but trust me, it tends to have better performance and have better results for you.